Hello, Cheapskaters. My name's Kath and I'm a preparer. And I am proud to be a preparer, and I am proud to say that I am one. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. And I truly hope that you not only enjoy tonight's chat, but pick up some tips that will help you to be more prepared in your life too. Now, live chat is on. It's enabled. You need to be logged into your YouTube channel, Gmail account to join in. And Delaney is our lovely moderator tonight. Please be kind and make her job easy by remembering that we all have different opinions about everything, and we are all entitled to our different opinions and to express them as long as we do it nicely. So let's see, I've just had a quick look and there's quite a few people already chatting. We've got 21 people watching. Yvonne was first in the chat. So hello, Yvonne. Estelle was second. Yvonne said she's getting a lot out of the Cheapskates Prepare group. Glad to hear it. That's wonderful. All right. Hello, Beverly. Hello, Wild Woman. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Evelyn. Waiting. Hi, Annabelle. Hi, Mandy. Hello, Tegan. Hello, Simply Good Life. Waving back. Hello, Sandra. Hi, Barb. We are well, and no, you won't see Lacey Dog tonight. She's gone to her holiday home in the country. I'm sure she thinks she lives here and she just goes to Hannah's for a little holiday. Hi, Mary. Hello, Melissa and Sylvia. Hello, Beverly. And Delaney's just in from the garden. I know daylight saving, it gets away from you, but I have to say I am loving it. I absolutely adore daylight saving. It is so, I don't know what it is. I just like being able to keep going outside after tea if I want to. Just feels so much better. Hi from Grandma Betty. Hello, Grandma Betty. Okay, yes, I have started a new Facebook group called Cheapskates Prepare. There's a link to it on our Cheapskates Chatter group page. Same setup. There's a question and rules. You have to answer the question, agree to the rules before your request to join is approved. You don't do that, you don't get approved. And that's not because I don't like you. It's to keep out the nasties and the creepers and the horrible people. We don't want them. I don't want genuine people who are genuinely interested in knowing how to prepare for the future, whatever that future is. Hello, Sue. Thank you for joining us. And Mrs. Internet issues. I had internet issues this morning. I think everyone had them this morning. There was some, I was in the middle of talking to friends in Warrnambool and they were struggling too. Hello, Hev. Morning in the UK. Hello, Kathy. Aradia. How do you know the mulberries are ripe? There's purple in the garden. And you don't want it to land on anything because it will stain. I didn't mean to shock Grandma. Excuse me. Didn't mean to shock her, but she's watching. She gets a hello. I need to clear my throat. Sorry, guys. We had a very busy weekend. It was cold, really, really cold. And it's got me all croaky and whatever. So I'm really sorry. It doesn't sound the best, but I will do my best. Tegan wants to know, will the war affect meat prices? I say yes. Annabelle, yep. Annabelle agrees. If fuel goes up, it will affect pretty much everything. Fertilizer, we actually import fertilizer from Israel. So if we can't get that fertilizer, that's going to have an impact too, because most farmers don't know how to not use fertilizer these days. So that will have an impact too as a second or third tier, because they can't fertilize the field for the crops, so the crops won't be as good, so there won't be as much feed. So yeah, it's a whole domino trickle down effect that often we don't think about. It doesn't directly impact us, so we don't think about the trickle down, but there is always a trickle down. And I was listening to somebody today while I was doing something, and sorry. And yes, fuel will go up. Now, a trickle down from that is fuel will go up, so that means our inflation is going to keep up higher, which means that the Reserve Bank will bump interest rates up again in the hopes of trying to stop inflation from, I've probably got that backwards. No, I haven't got backwards. So the trickle down effect, it doesn't just affect the nucleus, it affects all the bits off it too. Does that mean there will be shortages as well? It depends on who actually goes into this war. At the moment, you've got Israel and Palestine fighting over Gaza. If Iran comes into it, if Iraq comes into it, that will affect us. That will definitely affect us. Delaney says on the radio tonight there was news of milk shortages in Victoria due to strikes. Yes. The tanker drivers and the process workers at the factory, 2 lots are on strike, 48 hours. And I know they want a pay rise, and I'm pretty sure they probably work hard. But you know what? The absolute waste that this strike is causing is disgusting, and they all ought to be ashamed of themselves. Every single one of them should be ashamed of themselves, because you will have farmers that will have to dump 2 days worth of milk because they will not be able to, well, they can't get it off their farm. They can't store it for longer than 48 hours. And a lot of them don't have the facilities to store it for more than 24 anyway. So that milk will go, it will be dumped in paddocks. And there's a side effect from that too, because it will, it causes environmental issues. I think that I understand they want a pay rise. Fine. There has to be a better way to get one than sending the people that keep them in work broke, forcing people to fight over milk in the supermarkets for their babies, putting prices up because there will be a shortage. It's going to take a while to catch up with what's not being processed now. So there will be shortages, which means prices will go up because demand will, it's just ridiculous. But I'm not happy about this strike at all. And yeah, I think the tanker drivers and the process workers are all disgraceful human beings. To say nothing about the union leaders that have decided this is the action to take. And I don't know that I would share a meal with them if they were starving. That's how much I feel about it. It is wrong, absolutely wrong. In this day and age, when we have people going hungry, people struggling to put food on the table, to force good food to be wasted is a criminal offence, or it should be. Okay, now I need to get off my high horse, sorry. Oh, Annabelle, thank you for that. Iran, see, and this is just, Iran have apparently declared they may go in preemptively within hours. Okay. Be prepared, people. Just be prepared. If you're not prepared, let's get prepared. Sad thing is, Diane, dairy farmers can't go on strike. They have to milk twice a day, and they have to do something with that milk. You know, if I knew of a dairy farm close by, I'd go and I would buy my milk off him. I'm not afraid of buying milk straight from the farm. It doesn't need to be pasteurized and homogenized. I am quite happy to have raw milk. I remember having raw milk. Not that long ago, we were having raw milk. All right, now we've got 7:42, so we've got 61 people watching. That's really good. Let's get started. We'll do the same as we've done the last couple of weeks. We'll go through tonight's topic, and then anyone that needs to leave us or wants to leave us can do so, and then we can keep chatting if that's all right with everybody else. Does that meet with everyone's approval? Oh gosh. I'll try and get this voice better for you. It's really croaky. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to say is tonight's show isn't meant to scare anyone. If anything I or anyone else says tonight scares you, take a breath, take a step back, ask yourself why. What about what I said or what someone else said is scary to you? If you know why, you can do something about it. And chances are it's because perhaps you know you should be doing something to be prepared for the future, but you're just not. Maybe you're stuck in that I don't know what to do loop. Maybe you're like, someone else can worry about it. The world is more evil, it's more confused, it's more angry than ever before. If nothing, the last 11 days have shown us just how evil and angry people are. You know, you don't gun down innocent people at a music festival for any reason. You don't take mothers with babies hostage and use them as human shields. That is evil, and they're angry, dangerous people. So the world is a scary place. I'm pretty sure if God hadn't made a covenant with Noah to never again destroy mankind before he returns, he would have gone, you know what, you guys need another flood or something, and he'd have done it by now, because the world is so much worse, I'm sure, than it was in Noah's time. And that's one reason to prepare, because the world is evil. But there are other reasons. There's many, many other reasons. It just makes sense to get your pantry full, to pay down debt, to build your skill set, to get healthy and stay healthy, to have a fully stocked emergency fund. You know, think back to 2.5 years ago. We were all stunned when war broke out between Ukraine and Russia. I'm pretty sure that many of you, just like I did, you just thank God we weren't there, that we weren't going through it. Well, you know, just 11 days ago, Hamas started a war with Israel, and millions of people have had their lives disrupted. Over 1 million people in Gaza have been pushed out of their homes with what they could carry on their back. They're living without power. They're living without water. There's no fuel. There's no food. There's no medical help. The hospitals have run out of fuel to run the generators. All those people that need breathing apparatus or anything electrical aren't getting that anymore. So if you move along into Australia, you know, that's a good reason to prepare. But come back to Australia, because we're pretty cruisy here in terms of civil unrest and stuff like that. We're pretty cruisy. We don't really have a lot of that, thank goodness. But our forecast is for a long, searingly hot, extremely dry summer. And not that I'd know that right now, because we have had so much rain to the point where some areas in our state are flooded again like they were same time last year. But, you know, what are we going to do? We need to prepare for a drought, or step into the world of supermarkets. And what we see, well, in Victoria at the moment, you'll see empty dairy cabinets. There's no deliveries. Nothing's being made. There's no deliveries. Rows of empty shelves that should be stocked with cereal and rice and pasta and tinned foods, tinned veggies and things, just not there. Where your basic food needs are so expensive, many families simply don't buy them because they can't afford them. And that's basic food needs, like your basic potatoes, onions, carrots, or, you know, a loaf of bread, or a kilo of rice. And that's not me letting my imagination run riot. It's not me making stuff up off the top of my head. It's what I've seen. It's what I've experienced. It's what I've listened to. It's what other cheapskaters have talked to me about in just the last week. Just the last week. So we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for natural disasters. You know, things like drought, well, they may not seem so bad to city people at first. But drought causes food shortages, and that causes huge food high spikes, big inflation, trickle-down effect to people. And then here in Australia, we're coming into cyclone season. Northern Australia will be gearing up very soon for cyclones. Cyclones bring winds, they bring rain that destroy homes and businesses and schools, farms, infrastructure like roads and things. Usually the farms that we rely on to provide our food, because that northern part of Australia is sort of a food bowl for us. A lot of what we in the southern states eat comes from up there. So we need to be a bit prepared. Inflation is something else that we can prepare for, and we can fight it simply by being smart and shopping ahead. buying today at today's prices so that when we need it tomorrow, we don't have to pay tomorrow's price. We've already got it. Another thing to prepare for is unemployment, be it planned or sudden. And I think we'll be seeing a lot more unemployment over the next 12 months. Or ill health. Nobody plans ill health, but some of us, you sort of don't plan for it, but it just happens. There's so many reasons, so many reasons to be prepared. And they all make sense. They all make sense. Anyone who tells you they like a tinfoil hat when they see that you're prepared, they're delusional guys. They have no idea. Preparers are the smartest people on this earth. Preparers know the value of getting ahead. They know the value of getting ahead with debt repayment, with building savings, with stocking the pantry, with gaining more skills. They're smart. We are smart. We are preparing. We are smart. No one says a thing when you mention casually that you're getting ready for Christmas, you've started buying presents or writing Christmas cards, you're preparing ahead for Christmas. They smile and nod and they think you're very clever. You are, by the way. Or perhaps, you'll say you've already ordered the kids' school books and uniforms. It's December, so that you're ahead of the crowd in January and you don't have to worry about it. They'll tell you how organised you are, how smart you are. And you are. You really are. So why should stocking your pantry be any different? Why do they have to call us names and roll their eyes when you keep your pantry stocked, or when you learn a new skill, or a new way of preserving food, or you start a garden? If you've got something coming up, you've got an event coming up, you prepare. You've got a wedding coming up, you prepare for it. You choose the dress, you choose the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, you choose their clothes, you choose the venue, you choose the minister, you choose the invitations, the flowers. You plan for it, and everyone thinks that's a wonderful thing to do. If you're going on a holiday, you plan for it. You don't just wake up in the morning and go, I think we'll go on holiday today, and get up and go. You plan your holiday. You plan the travel, how you're going to get there, the accommodation, where you're going to stay, how much it's going to cost. You decide what you're going to wear, what you're going to pack. If you need a babysitter or a house sitter or a dog sitter, you organise all that. You get ahead and you prepare for it. And nobody says a word. They think that's really smart. You've prepared so you can enjoy the event, so that it runs smoothly for you. That's brilliant. That is just the best thing you can do. So why do they think it's stupid to prepare for a drought? We all know what a drought is. It's a scarcity of water. So we know that we're going to have a long, hot summer. It's going to be very dry. So we get some rain barrels and start to collect some rainwater. We start watching the amount of water we use in the shower. We have them 5 minutes, no more. We put a bucket under the shower to catch that cold water before it, before the hot comes through, and we use that in the washing machine or to clean or to water the plants or something. We don't run the tap when we're washing the veggies. We fill a bowl with water and do the veggies in that. We plan ahead on how we're going to survive without water. We mulch the garden so it won't need as much water. They're all things preparers do to survive a drought. Now, not one of those things is odd. I don't think that. Anyway, they're not ridiculous. They're all practical. They're all sensible tasks to make living during a drought easier. So why do they roll their eyes when we prepare our pantry, we stock our pantries? Another example, when you find out you're expecting a new baby, you start to prepare. You're excited. You think about what you'll need, how much those things are going to cost. You start to collect those needs as you can afford them or as people give them to you. You start practicing living on one income so you'll be able to live comfortably on your maternity leave or your paternity leave and enjoy the time with your new baby. And you know what? You're encouraged to do that. No one thinks it's odd to prepare for a new baby in the family. But when you add extra food to your pantry, or you extend your garden, or you learn to pressure can, you're odd or you're weird or you're a hoarder or a prepper. They roll their eyes. They tell you what they think you are. I don't understand it. Because why? Why? What is the difference? Preparers aren't hoarders. We store what we use and we use what we store. We rotate through it on a regular basis. Preparing as cheapskaters often means doing it, on a really tight budget. Not all of us have money to spare to, go out and buy an extra month's worth of everything, or 2 months or 3 months or whatever. But we could do it by adding just 1 or 2 things to the pantry each shop. We can search op shops and marketplace for things that we need at a price we can afford. I will never tell you to go into debt to prepare. I will never tell you to go into debt to fill the pantry. I just won't. That's a big no-no. You fill your pantry on the money you have. You use the skills you have to fill your pantry. Now, it might be that you go foraging. I've been known to do that. I've even got the kids doing it for me now. Take the dog for a walk. They've got a shopping bag, and if there's any fallen fruit, they pick it up and bring it home. I've been known to knock on doors and say, "Excuse me, I've noticed your lemon tree is really full. I always offer to buy some." And they've, not once has anyone ever said, oh, don't. They've always said, "Please take them." I usually return with a jar of something for them as a thank you. Those things fill my pantry. They will fill your pantry. We need to be aware of these things. On your nature strips around the corner from us, there's a plum tree. The people in the house don't use them. So knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, would you mind if I pick the plums when they're ripe?" "No, go right ahead." Every year I ask, and every year I come, so I keep an eye on those plums, and when they're ready, I pick them. And we use them. I take them back a jar of jam. It works, it's a bit of a trade and it works. But if you are driving in the country, old properties, you will often see around where there's been old houses, you will often find fruit trees or almond trees especially. I don't know why, but almond trees especially, or peppercorn trees. If they're just there and the fruit is falling on the ground, take it. It's not wasted. There you go, I've said it. If you can see someone, ask them. But otherwise, just take it. Fill your pantry on the money you have with the abilities that you have now. Because going into debt to do it is just foolishness. Debt's a 4-letter word. It's a nasty 4-letter word. A really nasty 4-letter word. And if you're preparing You do not want debt. That is one thing we definitely do not want. Need a drink. You know, even if society completely fails and the banks close, civilization as we know it crumbles, you will need to repay your debts. They will not be forgotten. So whatever you do, don't increase them. I read just this week, yesterday maybe, or Sunday, last couple of days, I read just this week that in the USA, most of the people who lost their homes during the Great Depression did so because they couldn't pay the taxes, what we call council rates, on the property. The banks may have folded, not been there to collect the mortgages, but government still wanted their taxes. They still wanted their money. You couldn't pay. They were going to come in and take your house. And that's what most of the people that lost their homes in America in the Great Depression, that's why, because they didn't pay their taxes. Do what you need to do to get out of debt. That's just plain sensible advice, but for anyone at any time, because there is no such thing as good debt. I don't care what anyone says. There is no such thing as good debt. Debt is debt, regardless of what it's for. And when you owe money, doesn't matter how much it is, when you owe money, you owe nothing. You run the risk of losing the lot. Not everyone agrees with me, and you don't have to. That's fine. But I'm just saying. Now, let me just go stop, click, and let's see. Where was I? Hi, Maddie. We haven't heard from you for ages. Hope you're well. Let me scroll up. Yeah, that's interesting. Hello, Coralie. Right, okay. Mrs. Dilliger says IMF, International Monetary Fund, had meetings in Morocco and the outlook isn't good. 5% of banks globally are vulnerable to stress. I would have thought it was more than 5%. If low growth and high interest rates continue for a prolonged time, 30% of banks will be at risk. I would think we're already at the 30%, if not more, mark. Yeah, interesting. Hello, Chris. I'm grateful to be in Australia too. Barb's typing in the dark. See, if you were in Victoria, Barb, you'd have daylight saving, you'd be in the daylight. Yvonne says Drake's in South Australia has Rosanna diced tomatoes for 70 cents a can. Hi, Joy. Hello, Gail. Oh, Kathleen, your grandma would have so much to tell us. She would be, her wisdom would be amazing. Oh my gosh. Anyone that's gone through war, depression, another war, collapse. What did we have in the air? Oh my gosh. Annabelle agrees. Treasure trove of information. Grandma thinks just like me. Oh, I don't know. Don't know that many people think like me, Kathleen. Alrighty, is concerned about job security. All I can say is don't stop preparing. If you never lose your job, you're ahead of the game. If you never If we never have another recession, you're ahead of the game. Being prepared, you're always going to be ahead of the game. And if something happens, you can cope with it. So do your best. And I know you're working really hard on it. I know you are. So prayers that your job will be safe. But be proud and be assured that because you are preparing, you're at least aware and your eyes and ears are open so you know what to do and how to do it. Mrs. Dilligaff says she doesn't get grief about preparing because she doesn't tell anyone about it. If they don't live in my house and don't contribute to my food budget, then it isn't their business. That's exactly right. What have I been saying for years? Do not share your pantry. Do not. And remember, to me, pantry encompasses not just the food, but the cleaning, the garden, the wardrobe, the clothes, the Manchester and the linen cupboard. Everything we use is part of a pantry, just different little sections. No, you don't. Yeah. Debt is just terrible, Estelle. Well, Yvonne, you could make kumquat marmalade, yum, 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 or you could candy them. You could slice them and put them in syrup, put them in a heavy syrup and boil them up and then put them on a tray and let them drain, or you could dehydrate them. I think you can put them in brandy, but I don't know about that because I don't do it, so I can't help you with that. There's lots of things you can do with kumquats. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, see, Tegan gets oranges and lemons off a neighbour and she gives him treats and eggs. Fair swap. Hez said she made mistakes in the early days, stocking the wrong items, but I've improved. Just wish someone in the family would notice. You know what? Don't worry about it. You prepare for you. You prepare for you and then you prepare for your family. I was talking to Annabelle about this a while ago, and someone had said to me that, well, we have adult children, so they should be looking after themselves. Well, yes, and they do. But if I can help them a little bit and help them prepare, then that's what I'm going to do. And it works. It works out because Hannah and I have a shopping thing going where she sort of knows what I want and I know what she wants. And if one of us finds it and it's a really good price, we message or whatever to say, do you want us to get it? Or if it's a really good price, we just get it. And we work together like that. Or sometimes she gets really good deals on fruit and veg at her local fruit market, better than I can get. She will turn up. I think I've done a video where she turned up with pumpkins. I had pumpkins coming out of places I never thought I'd have pumpkins. But they were like 20 cents a kilo. She just got them because she knows we'll use them. We work together like that. So they will notice when you are able to help them when they need your help. The other thing is when you're stocking anything, whether it's your food pantry or your toiletries or your cleaning, Manchester, whatever, only stock what you use. It's not within the prepping community. That's not a particularly popular thought. They say stock what you use and anything else you can get your hands on because you can use it to barter and trade. We're preparing on a budget, so we can't afford to waste that money on stuff that we're not going to use on the off chance we will be able to barter and trade with it if we need to, because that means that we're stocking for a particular scenario where I tend to think that I'm preparing for the future, whatever the future may bring, be it recession or depression or unemployment, ill health, bad weather, the collapse of civilization, war in the Middle East, whatever it is, I'm just preparing for the future. I'm not actually preparing for a particular event as such, if that makes sense. Hello, Vicky. We are well. Yep, there you go. Joy says her husband's uncle was able to buy a house in the Depression because someone else got into debt. Yeah. Wyalla's selling a lot of houses by the councils. The rates haven't been paid. Vicky's paid off her house. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. That is wonderful news. Hev says, here in the UK, there are noticeable gaps in the tinned fish and meat sections. Youch. Yeah, there's tuna's a bit scarce. Salmon's not, but crikey, it's doubled in price. I went to buy some salmon a month or so back and nearly stroked out at the price of it because it was double what it was last time I bought it. So salmon's off our list now. So I think that's everywhere, which is really funny because you're so close to the North Sea. Great fish comes out of the North Sea. Just hilarious. Selena, it depends on the council. Some councils will only give you 2 years. Barb says her gran just turned 99. Happy birthday, Gran. And she's been through a lot. She raised 9 children, plus lost a child when he was 1. Cared for her grandpa. She taught Barb and her cousins to bake. That's really nice. There are life skills that we can learn from our elders. If you have older family members around, treasure them. Their knowledge and their skills, while they may not think that they have them, they do. They absolutely do. Yes, Delaney says now is the time to start cooking and getting a taste for meals from shelf-stable and garden ingredients. While we were away, our meals consisted of what I had either dehydrated or canned. So one night we had corned beef, mashed potato, and carrots. The corned beef I'd canned, the potato I'd canned, and I mashed it, drained it and mashed it, and warmed it up with a little, I had some sour cream, so I put sour cream in it. It was delicious. And the carrots were carrots. I don't know whether I think I might have shown you all a while back. I had some carrots that I tried with Moo French onion soup. They were delicious. They were really good. They were a whole meal from our pantry shelf. So yeah, it's a good advice. Get into the habit of doing that. All right. How does Hannah do shopping for one? She shops once a month. She has a good pantry. She has a very well stocked pantry, and she shops once a month. Because it's just her, she tends to buy a little differently to what I do buying for family. But she has set things that she buys every month, and she just buys them. She's shopping more and more at Woolworths. She's liking Woolies better. And where she is that works for her. So yeah, she just does it. Yep, year's supply of debt and no food is exactly right, or more. Depends where they are, Selena. All right. Now, sorry, just wanted to catch up because otherwise the comments get too far ahead, too far behind. I can't catch up. Right. A few minutes ago, when I was chatting away, I mentioned skills. For a long time, collecting skills has almost been a hobby of mine. I love to learn. I like to know how to do new things. So if you have skills that you can rely on to feed you, to house you, to clothe you, to earn a living, you are very well set up. You are very well off. If you can learn new skills or refine the skills that you have, even better. And you can do that for free. You don't need to spend money to do that. You're on YouTube right now. There are millions of tutorials on YouTube for anything and everything you could ever imagine. You know, I learned how to crochet doilies on YouTube by watching YouTube. I learned to pressure can by watching YouTube videos. I learned to use my scanner gun by watching YouTube videos. I learned to make soap by watching YouTube videos. Soap making is a great skill to have. If you don't have it, get some videos and learn how to make soap. It's a great skill to have. Soap is a valuable commodity in a crisis, in a depression or a war. Soap is a really valuable commodity. I didn't pay a cent for any of those tutorials that I watched. They were there and I picked them and I flicked through a few to find the ones that worked for me. They were free. Now, the other way to learn is to find someone who has the skill that you want to learn and ask them to teach you. Join a knitting group, join a garden group, make friends with like-minded people as you learn, because that's an important part of preparing, and it's something that we probably don't talk enough about. But having a community of like-minded friends that you can call on for advice or help if you need it, or a group that can call on you, or you can offer your wisdom to and your skills to, your support if they need it. A support structure is very important. You can do it alone, but it's hard and it's lonely. If you can create a community of like-minded people, much like what we have here, the encouragement when you're doubting is, it removes the doubts. And we all know that there's going to be someone who will, let's say they'll gently call you out if you're making a mistake. The support from a group of people who think like you do is vital. I will suggest, though, like we mentioned before, that you keep some things private. Don't tell all and sundry, even if they are like-minded, what you have stored in your pantry, or how much cash you have on hand, or where your escape place is if you have one, if that's the sort of preparing you're into. You wouldn't give them, access to your passwords or to your PIN numbers. So don't give anyone access to other things that really don't concern them. Things that should be kept private. All right, now, What have I written? Let me see. Last week on Thursday, I started a new Facebook group called Cheapskates Prepare. I started it, something I've been mulling over for a couple of weeks, and then after last Tuesday's show and the talk afterwards, it played on my mind and played on my mind. So I started the group. Because preparing isn't something that I've just jumped on. I have been living this way for nearly 35 years. Certainly as long as we've been married. In the early days, I was doing the basic preparing, thinking ahead to Christmas and how we'd save money on presents and preparing for that sort of thing. Then, of course, when disaster struck, it became much more important that I prepared ahead. And I started that with my monthly shopping list. Helped me get prepared and prepared ahead. So it's not something new to me. It's not something I've just gone, oh, this is trending well, I'm going to jump on this. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. But I got called out because most of you will know that I'm Christian and I prepare. Now that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I lack faith or that I don't believe the Lord will take care of me and mine. Doesn't mean that at all. God warned Noah, told him to prepare. He gave him 120 years to get ready for that flood. That's a lot of preparing. Joseph had 7 years to get ready for the seven bad years. The 10 virgins, 5 of them were smart enough to be prepared with extra oil for their lamps. They were the 5 that got to enjoy the feast. The other 5 stuck outside in the cold and dark because they didn't prepare. So I don't think that preparing, looking ahead to the future and preparing is unchristian. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can be a Christian, you can be a person of faith and still prepare for the future. We don't know exactly what the future holds. We're not supposed to know what the future holds. Not exactly. We don't even know how long the future is going to be. But what we can do right now is our very best to prepare for whatever may come in that future so that we can live our best life with faith and with trust and maybe be an example to others. That sort of brings me back to the friends and family members who roll their eyes every time and go, oh, I got diced lamb for $7.99 a kilo, 12 pints in the pantry. Oh, so good. I'm so excited. They roll their eyes and they make snide comments. Every little thing we do to prepare is an example to those doubters around us. So look ahead, see what gaps need to be filled and work on filling those gaps. Be the worker ant. Get things done, because once they're done, the security you have, the peace of mind you have, it takes a lot of stress off your shoulders, and you don't fear the future because you are prepared for it. If that makes sense. Whatever you do, don't stop preparing. Just don't. Just keep doing it. Whether you're preparing to be a week ahead, a month ahead, a year ahead, 20 years ahead, is up to you. You know your plan for your future, how you want it to work out. We're all different. We all have different ideas on how long we need to prepare for and what we need to have in our pantries. Just don't stop. Just keep preparing. Keep on preparing. So let me pop back over here. Right. Okay, sorry guys. We bought ice cream. What did we buy ice cream for? Something for Wayne. It was a celebration. Or it might have been Father's Day. Might have been Father's Day. And we had ice cream. And I haven't bought ice cream since last Christmas, and I nearly died at the price. Luckily, Hannah bought it. There you go. Tegan says they started their journeys to self-sustainability by watching YouTube videos. Simply Good Life would like to learn the skill of home remedies. I know and do a few already, but I'd love to build up a herbal apothecary one day. Rain Country and what's the other one? If I think of it, I'll put it down. For Rain Country is wonderful. Annabelle on her Bluebirds Are Nesting blog has some really good ones too. I'll put a link underneath for that as well. There you go. Delaney says, borrow a copy of the Milkwood Permaculture Living Handbook. It's a good one. Oh, that's what they are. That's what they are. Oh, there you go. Delaney says Rain Country. Hev says she's been thinking of suggesting starting a group teaching and encouraging skills like knitting, crochet at your church. Yes. Yes. You know what? There will never be a right time. Put it to your church board. Talk it up amongst your members. Get people enthusiastic and just do it. Just do it. Maddie, I am glad spring is here too. It was a long winter, wasn't it? I don't think your faith has nothing to do with your ability to prepare. Does that sound harsh? Don't mean it to be harsh at all, but a lot of people tend to think that Christians shouldn't be looking to the future in terms of preparing for it. They should just trust, have faith that God will help them. He will, but we need, like my examples were, he gave Noah 120 years to build the ark. He gave Noah time to prepare. So we need to be preparing. He didn't just click his fingers and the ark appeared and Noah and the animals went in. That didn't happen. So no, you don't need to be religious to prepare, and religion shouldn't matter anyway. And if religion didn't matter, perhaps the Middle East would, well, brother against brother, isn't it? So but to me, Your faith, I don't care what your faith is. If you want to prepare, I'm happy to help you. I will talk to you all day. We can bounce ideas. I don't care about that. Maddie says we have to lend a helping hand where we can with what we can spare. Yes. There you go. Estelle says she tried to say that to a friend from church. She refused to prepare. Where's that in the Bible? Well, she doesn't know a Bible very well then, does she? Because there's a lot more in there. A lot more in there. Children of Israel, manna from heaven. They had to prepare. They had to prepare for the Sabbath by getting a double lot of manna on the Friday because manna didn't come on the Sabbath. God told them to prepare by getting a double lot of manna for the Sabbath on the Friday for the Sabbath, because there'd be no manna on the Sabbath. He had them prepare. Maddie bought heaps of pasta to help people when they will knock on her door. Yes. Extra EpiPens, great thing. I've actually, I'll fess up and say I've broken my totally handmade Christmas. I was doing so well too, but I've actually bought everyone flints, or fire. They call them fire starters these days, or flints when I was growing up, for their Christmas stockings. Because you can have matches, but matches are only going to last so long. Flint will last for a long time. And once you get the knack of lighting a fire with a flint, it is actually really simple. You've just got to learn how to do that so that spark flicks off in the right direction. And woolen socks. I got woolen socks for Wayne in 2020 when I couldn't go out, so I ordered them online. They are so good, absolutely so good. They're Australian, and he's still wearing them. He wears them to work, so 5 days a week. Not the same pair, of course, but he's been wearing them for nearly 3 years, and they are just brilliant. So I've ordered woolen socks too for everyone. The EpiPen's excellent. For the first aid kit, perfect idea. Yep, prepare the best you can and leave the rest to God. That's exactly right. Okay, we all try to be the light on the hill by preparing. Yes, this makes us happy. Our happiness shines out as an example to all. Then they ask why we're so happy. Well, not only that, Kylie, but we're actually less stressed, aren't we? I mean, I don't know. I have to say, last week I did say, mention to Wayne that I was a little concerned. My exact words were, this scares the bejeebers out of me. But I was talking about Israel moving into Gaza, land forces moving into Gaza. And I did say that scared the bejeebers out of me for so many reasons. But then I went, I can't control it. I can't stop it. All I can control is my thoughts and my actions. So I did a mental inventory of what we have and what we've got and what we need. That's when I looked up what we import from Israel. I went, okay, these things might affect us. So I've gone through and checked up and made sure it's right. And now it's taken the stress away. I'm still concerned. Don't think for a minute I'm not concerned, but I'm not as stressed, as nervous, as tense, as terrified as I was last week. Oh, you do have to love friends who'll bring you cookies and cream, ice cream, and cake. It's a lovely friend. Grow Your Own Drugs. I think I've got that book. I think I have that book. Maybe we need to do another show on different books and what our favourite books are for preparing. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Now, before I finish off this part of the show, I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way through. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, I would absolutely be honoured if you click that subscribe button and then the little bell next to it. That will just notify you. You probably know all this, but that'll just notify you every time we upload a new video or we go live. And if you know someone who might like this video, please click the share button to send them the link. That's all it does. And one last thing, then I'll let you go if you want to. If you've enjoyed the show, please give us a thumbs up. It lets me know what our audience likes, if they like what we talk about or not, but it also helps us with YouTube, and that's important, especially in these tough times. So there's 3 things you can do: like, subscribe, and share to help our channel grow and be recognized more easily. And of course, the easier it is for people to find us, the easier it is for us to spread the message that it is not only okay to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing, but it can still be done even in today's crazy world. Now, I'll be back next week with another Cheapskates Club video, and I'm thinking it might be the Handmade Christmas Show and Tell. I've got everything sorted. I've done the piles. I've written the cards. So I think we'll do the Handmade Christmas Show and Tell next week. Now, if you're leaving us now, I hope you have a great week. Happy cheapskating. If you're staying for the extended chat, just give me a moment to take a sip of my cuppa and flip over, and then we can chat until we run out of things to say, as if that's ever going to happen, or until we get too tired. All right, just give me a second, guys. I will go click and back here. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. 64 people watching. That's really, really good. Thank you for staying with me. Right. Right. Right, Maddie says, lives rural. If people have guns for farm use, get the things that go in them as the USA, where they're made, are only making them for military now. Prices are going to double. Yes, a friend of mine commented this afternoon that if you in the US, if you want ammunition, get it now because it's doubled in price and it is scarce because the military is now buying it up. So sorry, she said, if you need ammo, get it now. And I would expect that would spread to here, trickle down effect. There you go. There's two more two more books, Cheryl the Green Witch and Herbal Remedies. There's lots of really good books around. One of my favorites is Back to Eden. Oh, I love that book. I use it all the time for different things. There's a few different versions of it. Mine's the pink one, by Jethro Kloss, Kloss. It's very old. It's a very, very old book. It's been redone a few times, and his children or grandchildren have reprinted it a few times too. But it's an excellent book. Oh, don't tell me diesel's going over $3 a litre. Oh, don't want to know. That's a depressing thought. Don't want to know. Yeah, Estelle Scott Flints. They are nifty little gadgets, really nifty little gadgets. Yes, Annabelle, Proverbs 27:12. Yep. Estelle says natural fibre garden twine's great for creating the little nest that you need to start your fire with a flint. Gail's knitting husband's socks. Something I've never tried socks. Maybe that can go on my skill list of things to do. Why are wool clothing items so pricey? Well, you would think that being in Australia they wouldn't be, but same old, we no longer make it here. Extra antihistamines, yes. Aspirin for thinning your blood. Just be really careful with aspirin. So many people take aspirin because they think it works to thin your blood, but overdose on it and you get really, really sick. Antihistamines, antihistamine tablets and syrup, so Benadryl syrup or the like, will work too. And often the syrup's easier for children or older people that can't swallow. Well, if fuel goes over $3 a litre, you might be able to auction your bike off. It might be worth more. Yep. Woolen socks. Yeah, it's a shame you couldn't wear them. They're so good. Anything wool for hiking, for camping, anything wool is great because wool, even if it gets wet, if it gets damp, it doesn't chill you like a synthetic will or like a cotton will. So wool is really good. Yeah, Suzanne says maintain CPR and first aid skills. I think your asthma pumps are already on the low list, aren't they? They were a while back. Estelle wants to know, how do we look up what Australia imports from where? Well, all I do is type in what does Australia import from wherever I'm looking for. It will bring up a list. So I look for the government Department of Trade lists in the list and click on it and see, follow it through. Sometimes it's a bit like It's a bit like a rabbit hole, and you get in and you go and just go off and off and off, and you can get quite lost in it. But yeah, it's there for everyone to find. It's not hidden or anything. New tires for your push bike. Oh, good. Found them on eBay. They've been out of print for years, so really, really well done. Is Aussie Thunder. Thank you, Delaney. She'll start a preparing related book thread on the forum. Thinking about it for a few weeks. Yes, so have I. Time gets away. It's only 24 hours in a day. It needs to be longer. I can't do it all. Handmade Christmas show sounds perfect. Night Delaney, thank you so much for your efforts tonight. Much appreciated. Oh dear. Well, if you just burnt them, you can let them cool, and if they're not very badly burnt, grate the burnt bits off and still use them. I've been known to do that. Tea's on special tomorrow, $6.75. Thank you, Barb. Yeah, Yvonne, 428. Wow, it's zipped up really quickly. I think that everyone wants to be ready for whatever happens. Nobody likes to be caught by surprise when it's a nasty surprise. So if we can do something every day, just do something, one thing, add one thing to your pantry, plant some seeds, or do one thing every day to get a little further ahead and a little more prepared. It doesn't take long before you see that you've actually done really well, that you've got quite a lot going on. So yes, I like oregano oil. I use it a lot too. The other thing I use a lot is Manuka honey. I swear by Manuka honey for so many things. My children hated it when they were little. They have a sore throat, spoonful of Manuka. Tastes dreadful. Absolutely disgusting taste. But it clears their sore throats up in no time. Cuts on fingers, splinters, things like that. It's really, really good. So yeah, and oregano oil. I usually get the one that is food safe, so I can use a few drops in my cooking or in medicine. Castor oil's been hard to find. Love the Wendy's colony story. I enjoy it too, Yvonne. It's just a story, but every time I read it, there's something else that I go, boom, light bulb moment. One of the first things that I thought with it was she wasn't at all worried that her children went home from school. She wasn't at all worried that her husband would be stuck in the city, however far away that was, because she never actually said, but it was far enough that, it took him a couple of days to get home. So I'm like, she wasn't worried about that. I would have been beside myself. I would have been out hunting for my children and pacing the floor waiting for my husband. So she was very cool and calm about that. And And I appreciated the way she straight away went into inventory mode, which is what I did when disaster struck. I went, well, we've got this, and this that'll last this long. We've only got this much money. How can I make it stretch? She did the same thing. And I did smile when they hid the honey and the sugar from the extras for the tea and coffee. But she was already very, one thing that stood out was she was already very knowledgeable about plants, what plants could be harvested, what weeds could be used for eating or medicine or whatever. She was already very knowledgeable about that, so that when the food ran out, she was able to replace it because she had that knowledge. That was really interesting, and I think perhaps that's one thing that I like to try and work on. So because I'm not very good at that. So yeah, but it's a great little story. Maddie has flintoffs. Oh. Yvonne's got a barbecue. She was given a barbecue. Cool. Aluminium foil's going short supply. It's probably all in my shed. It's like the beetroot. Worldwide beetroot shortage, apparently, according to my kids. It's in our pantry. Was hilarious. Fish oil, yes, did know fish oil lowers cholesterol. Bike trailer. I will look up yoga socks. What a great idea. I've never heard of them, but I will look them up. I don't mind knitting in the round, but that's cool. I had thought, I used to knit booties. When I was going to work by train. I had an hour on the train each way each day. I could do a pair of booties a day, and I would knit booties. And I sort of had this thought, well, really, socks are just giant booties. But somehow I don't think the booty pattern's gonna quite translate to adult size socks. But I guess pattern's got to come from somewhere, hasn't it? Yeah, hiking boots. Well, I decided over the weekend that my boots, I'd show them to you, but they're at the back. I need new elastic. The boots themselves are fine. I just need new elastic in the sides of them. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to do it myself or take it to a cobbler, if I can find a real cobbler, because I don't really want to have to spend another $400 on boots. Mind you, I've had them for probably over 10 years, maybe 12 years I've had them, so they're good boots. But yeah, if you can get one, you need to be careful which one you get, and you need to make sure that you've got filters for them. Otherwise, just use really good masks, really good quality. You can get the filtering face masks that painters and sanders and things use. They might be cheaper and easier to get for you. Oh no, it's the last paper mill. Which one's the last paper mill, Maddie? I'd be right though, honestly. Oh no, that's terrible. Yeah, N97. Oh, they taste like burnt popcorn. I'm so sorry. Night, Cheryl. book show, okay. Yes, it was interesting, the killing people. And when they went into the furthest town, she and her husband went with the little pony cart thing, and there was the gang of men that they had to get through to be able to do whatever it was they wanted to do in that town. That was scary. That was scary, and it was sort of a bit insightful. I don't know what would happen, because that was regional. So and I could see that happening in regional towns, but in a city, in a major city like Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, major big city, um, I think the gangs would be more violent. They would be more territorial. Um, would be interesting, yeah. And yet they started school up again, and they opened up the library that had been closed for years through government's funding cuts. So they just opened it up again and started, and everyone was dropping books in. It was very interesting. It does give you something, things to think about and ponder on, and wonder about how you'd cope. It was very sad when her father got the appendicitis and died, because they couldn't do anything for him. Old man's beard that grows out from trees, soaking in vodka, makes the best antibiotics. Okay. I mentioned that on our Cheapskates Prepare group to build up your dental skills. Does anyone know Lembedell? You heard of the Ambedell Highway, the Gun Barrel Highway? Lembedell was the surveyor that put those roads through Central Australia and northern Western Australia. I think he did some in South Australia too, and it wasn't that long ago. It was only the 1960s, so it was like 60 years ago, and very remote, very remote. And so he had to learn for his crew, and I think there were 5 of them on the crew, the cook, and then him and 3 other guys. And they would be out there for months at a time in the bush with nobody, nothing around. And if you've ever been out there, it is a bit sort of empty. And he had to learn dentistry or basic dental skills. And the government actually sent him to dental school in Adelaide for a short course on dentistry, so that he would know what to do, so he'd know how to pull a tooth or whatever in an emergency, because there was nobody there. There was nobody there. So that's really good. Yeah, an emergency dental kit it's good to put into your first aid kit. Good idea, Kylie. Have a good day tomorrow, Joy. Enjoy it. Latrobe Valley. Okay, thanks, Maddie. Well, yeah, the cars with computers just stopped. It was an EMP in the story. Was an EMP, so they just wiped out anything electronic was wiped out. Just didn't work. So their computers didn't work. Their TVs, their smart TVs didn't work. Their phones didn't work. nothing worked. Nothing just worked. And I know that people say, oh, well, you should, you can put your things in Faraday cages. But from what I understand, maybe I'm just stupid. From what I understand, you don't get advance warning of an EMP. It just happens. Now, our astronomers might see the flare, the solar flare, and I think that there are some that they do predict, but one that would take out the entire world, I don't know that it would be predicted, and so you wouldn't have time to put anything in a Faraday cage. And the other thing that scared me was that the cars stopped. What about the planes? Puts you off flying. That did put me off flying for a bit, Okay. So, yes, there we go. All right, so we're all prepared. We all know what we're doing. Everyone's happy. So the paper mill's closing. I think that's terrible. I wonder who owns the Latrobe on it. Ah, interesting, Kylie. I imagine that lots of defence have the ability. Thank you. One EMP cannot disable the entire world due to the Earth being a globe. Yeah, you can take out a good portion of it though. Oh, you know what? Okay, here we go. We're talking about this as though we actually know what it will do. It's very hard. It's a prediction. It's a prediction. Until it happens, no one knows for sure what the result will be. We can only surmise that such and such a thing will happen. If this happens, then this happens. If this happens, this will be the reaction. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's hope we never have to live through it. Because I have to tell you, so many people, as soon as the power goes out, people will just fall in a heap because they just do not know how to live without power. Alrighty. So, okay, all right. So we've all finished talking. Okay, well, in that case, I will. Had to come from Japan. Photograph pay has been very hard to get. Yes, I have. I was reading up on that again this afternoon. Why? Who gives these people the power to tell us what to do? They are nobody. They are nobody. It's an organization that makes suggestions or was supposed to make suggestions. It should not be allowed to dictate to any country, to any sovereign government, how to run their nation. It should not be allowed. It's like the IMF. It's like the WEF. They are nothing. They are nothing. And yet governments have given them this huge power over the citizens of their countries. They have no power other than what they tell people they have. They're not elected. They just are. They have no power. So it is just ridiculous. And yes, I was reading up on it this afternoon. I've got a couple of videos to watch to catch up on it. Just ridiculous. Have to say, I am not an anti-vaxxer. Our kids, when we had our babies, they got everything we could possibly get for them. The chickenpox vaccine was new. The hepatitis vaccine was new when our kids were babies. We had to pay for them because they weren't on the schedule. Cost us a small fortune. We did that because I had scarlet fever. I can remember I was 7 when I had scarlet fever. I remember that. I remember my brother having mumps and how ill he was. Our baby girl, our daughter, had measles. She was 20 days old, and I went in. She hadn't woken up for her feed, and I went in to get her, and she was limp. And we just went straight to the hospital, which was like literally over the hill, 5 minutes from home, if that. But she had measles. So someone I'd been in contact with the day before she was born was carrying that virus, and I passed it to our baby girl. So she was one sick little baby for nearly a month. So we are really big on getting our children vaccinated against these diseases. But I don't think that untested vaccines that are produced in a hurry or produced quickly because they started one and had it half done, I don't think humans, like as in the population of Australia, should be used as the lab rats for those. By all means, and that's just me. That is me. And I know that some family members of mine were quite stunned because they know how I feel about, kids had MMR, they had everything we could possibly get for them. But this last one, nobody was going to use me as a lab rat. Just wasn't going to happen. And I don't think that our government should allow it. And tell them to take a hike. For crying out loud, just say, go away. Leave us alone. We don't like you. Exactly right, Kylie. Or I tend to say by the time they tell you about it, it's already happened. Or by the time they tell you they're thinking about something, it's a done deal. GPS is being scrambled a lot at the moment, so there are more planes needing to fly manual. Okay. They've got pilots that know how. Night Sue. Carbon diaries. Yes. Well, carbon rationing is already happening. I don't think you're wrong, but also we aren't as physically able to survive without the modern conveniences we have, and we no longer have the skills. So, who do you know? Does anyone know someone who knows a farrier for, making horseshoes? Who knows someone who can, a woodcutter, who knows, things like that, little things like that. How many farmers actually know how to hitch up some horses to an old-fashioned plow and plow a paddock? It's hard work. It's really, I didn't even try. Wayne tried, I didn't. It's just ridiculously hard. We would survive. Well, some people would survive. A lot wouldn't, because they simply don't have the skills, don't have the physical fitness. A lot of them would starve because they don't know how to cook over a fire. They don't know how to cook. So yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Massive distance from my health and family and forcing the entire world to take something without considering circumstances. Oh, exactly, Estelle. There was where was I reading it? Since Thursday, we've been away for the weekend, so I was doing a lot with that, and then I was trying to keep up with the new group, and the internet was dodgy as while we were there, so I was on my phone because I couldn't get on my laptop. So I was trying to do it on my phone, which is never a good thing because my fat old fingers don't work real well. But there's oh no, I'll leave it. I was gonna I'm sure I read somewhere that there's another round of vaccines due, and if you don't take them, if you don't have it, and if you don't get your children vaccinated, they will be banned from school, as in banned completely. Now, I know here in Australia, if your children are not vaccinated, they have to stay away from school when they are sick if they've not had the scheduled vaccinations. And the parents don't get family tax benefits A or B or something. It affects that somewhat. But forcing you by saying, and because homeschooling is illegal, you've got to get special permission and do amazing things in the USA to homeschool your children. It's very difficult. So, yeah. Echuca is keeping a lot of those skills alive. No. My husband has a cousin who they were on a dairy farm, south coast of New South Wales, and she had dirt floors in her house until they sold that farm in 1992. Trying to think. 1992, they sold on the south coast and moved down to the Riverina. But until then, in 1992, in the house, she still had packed dirt floors. in her house. She had lived there for 40 odd years with packed dirt floors. It was an old farmhouse. That was it. That was a hard life. So you wouldn't be screaming at the kids, take your shoes off because you make the floor dirty. Yeah. Oh no. No. I think we're up to like dose 7 or 8, aren't we, on the vaccine? If everyone's having it on their regular 3-month or 4-month schedule. I've lost track. Yep, Kylie, you will find it. 6th one, is it? Yeah. Oh, Jane, that's terrible. It's a horrible, horrible thing. I have to say, I've not had it. The only person in our house who is supposedly had it was Wayne, and he had no symptoms other than his sister rang and said we'd been with them that weekend, and his sister rang and said, "Oh, Dad and I've got COVID, so you better get tested." Well, I did the test, and he did the test, and I was negative, and he came back positive. So it's just bizarre, just bizarre. All right. Well, you grew up on a farm. You grew up healthy because you played in the dirt, so you built up your immunity. Hi, Roseanne. Oh gosh. Why do people stay well? I don't like hearing about people that are being sick. It's just not fair. It's just not right. Okay, well, I think we'll say good night, will we? It's 9:18 by my. It's 9:18 by my clock. Next week will be the show and tell, the handmade Christmas show and tell. I've got little piles everywhere. I was just going to video it, but we'll just do it live because then you can ask questions and I can answer them as we do it, if that makes sense. And then I can get the parcels in the post, which is very important. Get things off and away quickly. So again, thank you for spending your time with me tonight. I've really enjoyed the chat, and I will see you next week. Until then, stay safe, keep preparing, and happy cheapskating. See you later, guys.